I did a video recently, a Q&A type of thing, non-fashion related, all about life and dating and relationships and all the good stuff. There were so many questions, so I'm doing a part 2 because way too many questions to answer in the first video. And I threw on this jacket because it's kind of cold, but I feel like I'm like really bulky, so super random, but that is much better. Let's get right to it. Top 5 must-read books. All right, so these are my top 5 favorite books. I've actually read one of these more than once. So if you guys are diving into self-help books, positivity books, life-changing books, in my opinion, these are my top 5 recommendations. So the first one here, I'm not gonna really talk about each book, so I suggest you guys maybe look up on Amazon, look them up. No particular order. This is from Dale Carnegie. This is the very popular How to Win Friends and Influence People. Really great book. This is another one of my favorites. I've read this twice. This is called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This is actually a really easy read. If you guys don't like crazy big, like thick books, this is a perfect book, but so much knowledge in a small book that is pretty life altering. So if you guys want to get a book, this is awesome. I've talked about this so many times before. The Secret, I did lose the cover, but just imagine this is the cover of The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Yeah, Rhonda Byrne. I don't know how you pronounce her last name. And also this tore up Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth. This book, another one that changed my life. I talked about this in the last Q&A when you asked a question in regards to like best advice I've forgotten or read. It's a slow start. So at first it might be a little bit boring in my opinion, but then it picks up and it's just a really amazing book. I actually couldn't find this book in my apartment, but I was looking around and I couldn't find it, but it's The Alchemist. So I'm just gonna pop it up right here. The Alchemist is a great book as well. How many times a week do you go to the gym? I actually got a lot of questions in regards to this about like the gym and gains and all of that. So I go to the gym about 5 times a week. Now my, routine changes because just the week is always really different for me, but I do make it 5 times a week. Sometimes I go 4 times a week, but usually it's like 4 to 5 times a week. I'll get more into my fitness routine and all that very soon. I will do that soon. Advice on forgetting someone you loved with everything you had, but they cut ties with you. Another great question. I actually got a lot of questions as well on how to deal with breakups and how to get over someone. So I'm just gonna lump all of that into this answer. So that is inevitable sometimes with love, and that's like the risk that you are willing to take. That's why love is pretty scary. That's why you feel vulnerable when you're in love. You get scared when you're in love because it's so good that you're just afraid that it can disappear, you know what I mean? I do recommend getting your emotions out in a healthy way, whether it be like going to the gym, exercising, and also don't be afraid to talk about this with someone if you feel like you need to get it out and talk to someone that you trust. Talk it out. Remember that who you were before this relationship. I know that sometimes with breakups and heartache, it can be just like, it feels like it's the end of the world and it feels like your heart is super heavy and torn because it is. Remember who you were before you dated that person. Do things that you love. Relationships sometimes come and go, and that's part of life. Sometimes people are only meant to be with you for a season. And in my opinion, like I do believe that there's different soulmates in life. I believe that there's multiple people and you date people and you're with someone for a reason, for life lessons, to learn things maybe about yourself that you didn't know before, to learn about what you want, what you don't want, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, puts certain situations in life to teach you a lesson. And also I want you to know that when someone breaks up with you, I know it's easy for us to think, like I said in my last video about like believing our thoughts. Sometimes we maybe can be our own worst critic and think like, man, is this something I did? Like, is it I'm not good enough? Is it that? It's like, no, usually breakups aren't about you. Unless you do something obviously that is not okay, like cheating or whatever it is, lying or manipulating, that is on you. But like you said, this person cut ties with you. It might be just their deal. Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? So 10 years from now, I see myself successful or having a successful career, life. I mean, and successful is pretty like subjective. Like success means different things to different people. Like for me, success is just being content, being happy, being at peace with life. I don't think that money is everything. I do believe that, here's the thing. I feel like everyone wants to be comfortable in life. You know what I mean? There's a difference between being money hungry or greedy with money and money driven. Like what drives me, which is something that I've kind of have, realized lately in life, like the last few years, is that luckily I have been blessed to be able to provide for my family in certain ways, like, whether it be helping them out on trips, paying things for them, or like helping out whenever they need. And that just feels amazing for me to like be able to do that for my family. So it just motivates me even more to, work harder later on in life. And I also want to have kids. I see myself with like maybe 2 kids, maybe going on my 3rd or going on my 2nd. So we'll see where life takes me. Would you ever consider going on a date with one of your subscribers, even as friends? Definitely. Why not? I'd be down. I mean, I think so. Yeah. How do you keep your relationship alive? Don't ever forget that you're like, how do I say this? Like dating this person. So my advice is to not get too comfortable, in a sense that like, obviously you want to be comfortable in a relationship. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like, like that first few months, and it's like there's like the honeymoon stage. And I'm talking about if you're like heading to like a long-term relationship, remember the things that you used to do together that maybe you don't do anymore. Little surprises, little things, I'm sure you know your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. I'm sure you know them enough to like know what they like. Take them on dates, like dress up, like spice up your sex life as well. Do things that, are new and adventurous. Even for me, like traveling and stuff, getting out of like the routine with your partner can really, keep it alive. How old were you when you first kissed a girl? 13. What is your favorite date? My favorite date is April 23rd because it's not too hot and not too cold.
All you need is a light jacket.
That is the first thing that came to mind. If you're talking about like a date, romantic date, which I'm assuming that's what you're asking, I don't know. I like unique date ideas. I do like the typical romantic stuff though, like going to the movies, going to a nice romantic dinner, like, going to a nice romantic outdoor type of thing where you're like looking at the stars. I like cheesy stuff too. I'm a cheesy guy. I can be, actually. I feel like nowadays, some people, it's just kind of like with social media and everything, I feel like people don't do dates like before. Like I like when you call the person or you text them and you're like, hey, pick you up at 7, wear like pretty casual, like bring a jacket, I'll see you there. Like that stuff is like really, I tend to be quiet when meeting new people. What can I do to help me be more confident? Just because you're introverted or shy or quiet does not mean that it's like a bad thing. I don't know why society makes us believe that we all should be like in your face and outgoing and like super chatty to people. Sometimes that's just like, if that's who you are and you're comfortable just being more quiet at first, that is okay. But if you want to be more comfortable or confident, in a social setting, meeting new people especially, my biggest tip that actually helps me is that like, usually when you're meeting someone and they're meeting you as well, they're thinking the same thing you're thinking. They're also maybe not so confident. Some people disguise it better. They're also probably not thinking, or they're probably also thinking, what do I say next? Sometimes like we think that we're the main character in someone else's story, but no, like people have so many other things worrying about than thinking about you in a way. And I don't mean that in like a bad way. And also before you are talking to people or meeting someone, change those thoughts in your mind. Don't think like, oh man, I don't know what to say. Like, what do I say to this person? How do I start this conversation? I hate awkward silences. If you think those thoughts, that's just gonna happen. Take a deep breath and relax and just, if it helps, maybe even like think of a few things that you're gonna maybe talk about before you talk to that person. Be yourself, and if you're meeting new people and maybe they don't vibe with you, like that's totally fine. Doesn't mean that, there's something wrong with you. Everyone's different. So I hope that helped. Do you shave your privates and pubes? I actually have a video about this. I'll link it below or card it up here, shamelessly promoting that video. Yes and no, kind of. Who inspires you every day? Really cliche answer, but my parents, definitely. I talked about it briefly, but like they inspire me to do better in life, to be the better person or version of me that I can be. I'll never forget, just like my dad worked in labor, like he was a gardener. So like I would see him working super hard, especially here, like where it's really hot in the summertime. And my dad is like such a hard worker, and I like to think that's where I got it from. So is my mom. But like my dad, not once did I ever to this day heard him come home from work complaining about work. Like he always woke up in a great mood every single day. I don't even know if he realized that he was setting an intention for the day, but like he always woke up in a great mood, like dancing, a little too good of a mood that my brother and I would get really annoyed. He'd wake us up and like start dancing and be like, you know, it's time to get up for school, and like just joke around, and me and my brother would be like, all right, like shut up. And we're just annoyed because we're waking up early. My dad would be just dancing, and he'd come home from work and just not even complain about work. That is just really inspirational to me. And so yeah, those are the people that inspire me every single day. My mom is the same way. She's a hard worker. What camera do you use to film? I use the Canon 70D. I'll put an image right here. I'll link it below. I feel like I have bad luck with guys. Do you have any advice on looking for a relationship? I've always said this, but when you're specifically like looking for a relationship, at least every time I've heard someone say that, they never find someone until they like stop thinking about that. Because I feel like when you're putting that out there that like you want to look for someone super badly, it just never really works out, in my opinion. So the fact that you're looking for a relationship, ask yourself why. Like, why are you looking for a relationship? And then just looking at your picture, and you seem young, like below 24. So I'm just asking, why are you looking for a relationship? You know what I mean? You know, usually, and not saying that I haven't done this either, but you know, sometimes in relationships we're trying to find a void that we might have, or we're trying to find someone that will, once again, like I said, complete us. And sometimes that struggle love is actually not that great at all. You know, when you're trying to find someone that's going to maybe fill a void, and I know this is like maybe really deep, but you know, find what it is you're actually looking for, because that's the number one person that's going to be with you forever, is you. And once you find yourself, which takes time, then everything kind of, you know, works itself out, and the person that is meant to be with you will love you for who you are completely. You know, you as a whole complete person will attract another whole complete person, and you'll love yourself. You can love somebody else completely, flaws and all, and that person as well will love you back the same way. And it's kind of like, just like RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? So that is my advice, is don't look for relationships. Do you think sex is important in a relationship? Honestly, for me, yes, but it's not like up there with the most important thing. I feel like yes and no. I do love some romantic lovemaking, but I don't think it should entirely make up a relationship. Depends what's important to you. What age did you first ever see porn? I don't remember. I must have been, I don't know, like 10? I don't know, maybe that's too young. I really don't remember. What is your least favorite finger? All right, guys, so that completes today's video. I'm going to stop it right here because I have to run out, but that is pretty much the rest of the questions. Let me know in the comments if you guys enjoyed this video, if you want me to make more of these. I really enjoy these type of videos as well, just kind of sitting down, talking to you guys, and you know, talking about life. So let me know in the comments if you guys would like to. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna log off here. Follow me on social if you guys would like to keep up with me. Links down below in the info box. And yeah, with that being said, hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and I will see you guys in my next video. Adios.